Ladies and gentlemen, everywhere, welcome to a Saturday night edition of Trailblazer Volleyball. Tonight, we have an exciting top-tier matchup in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. Your very own Dixie State University taking on the Mavericks of Colorado Mesa. Both schools coming in tonight tied for third in the RMAC at 9-3 apiece. So this shall be a good one. I'm your play-by-play guy, James Guerin, with you always for every single one of a Trailblazer Volleyball home game. And man, oh man, I couldn't sleep last night knowing that the Mavericks were coming back into town. And if you've been around Dixie State for quite some time, you will know that the Mavericks are always dominant no matter what the sport is, whether it's baseball, football, basketball. They just do so well in every single category. And I like to consider them a rival of Dixie State, but the Mavericks have Dixie State's number in majority of the sports, but I like to think of it as somewhat of a rivalry between these two schools. These two schools met earlier on this season in Grand Junction, where Mesa came away with a 3-0 clean sweep over the visiting Trailblazers, and you have got to think that this team wants some revenge against the Mavericks. I mean, they want sole possession of third place. You look at the conference standings right now. You got Regis, who's 12-1 so far in the conference. 10-1 right behind them is MSU Denver, who Dixie State also fell to earlier in the season. And then Colorado Mesa and Dixie State both with a 9-3 record in the RMAC, tied for third. And there's only about 5 more games left in the regular season. So the season is quickly coming to an end. And before we know it, we're going to be talking about the RMAC tournament. Can believe it or not. And if Dixie State can lock in a spot in the top 4, then they will get one playoff game in the first round of the RMAC tournament. Best case scenario, though, they get that 1 seed and the whole tournament is here. But we will have to hope for a lot, especially from Regis and MSU Denver. But Dixie State just worrying about tonight against the Mavericks. And the Mavericks coming off of a 3-0 win last night up in Salt Lake against Westminster. And the first 2 matches were relatively close, 25-22 and 25-20. And then the third set, they kind of just ran away with it, 25-16. But the Mavericks are feeling hot right now. They've won 3 in a row, going back to last week where they won 3-2 over Black Hills State and 3-1 over South Dakota Mines. And we are going to step aside for our nation's anthem. We'll be right back. And now your starting lineups for both sides here in tonight's matchup. Era Norwood getting the start tonight for the Mavericks. Number 5, Camille Smith. Number 9, Cassie Gilbert, also getting the start here for the Mavericks. Kirsten Lehman, the libero. Katie Scher, one of the other starters for the Mavericks. And number 15, Miranda Thelius. And number 17, the final starter, Holly Schmidt. And now the starters for your home Dixie State Trailblazers. And of course, number 1, Jordan Nelson, who has had an unbelievable season so far. We'll be calling her name a lot tonight. Number 4, Rebecca Ferris, a new name in the starting lineup here tonight. Number 6, Lauren Gamble, getting the start, the All-American from a year ago. Number 9, Miranda Ekblad, the 4th starter for the Trailblazers. Number 10, the libero, Mckenna Nelson, who's been a nice surprise so far in her freshman year debut. Number 13, the other All-American, Meg Trainer, a Swiss Army knife, if you want to call her that. And the final starter for Dixie State, number 19, Toa Faleo. And the head coach for the Trailblazers always is Coach Robin Felder. The Mavericks are coached by head coach Dave Fleming. And just moments away here before the start of this intense three-game series. These teams are familiar with one another, already facing each other once earlier this season, where Mesa had everything in their control with a 3-0 sweep earlier this year in Grand Junction. But looking at the Mavericks so far, they are 5-4 on the road and 4-3 in neutral sites. So a 9-7 record overall away from Grand Junction. So anything goes here in the Student Activity Center. So 25-19, 25-21, and 27-25 were the scores from these two squads' previous matchup. And Dixie State so far here at home, 7-3 on the year. A very good start. And the player that to keep your eye on for the Mavericks side, and she is by far the most prolific scorer on the Mavericks side, who comes in with 330 points throughout the regular season so far. Coming up in just a second, excuse me, just bringing that up right now. Casey Guilford, number 9, coming in with 330 points. The next one is 100 points behind her, number 5, Camille Smith. And for Dixie State, they're always known for spreading the ball around. They have 3 players over 200 points for the season. Meg Trainer leading the team with 207. And Toa Faleo right behind her with 206.5. So just half a point behind Meg Trainer. And then, of course, lefty Lauren Gamble with 200 exactly. And here we go. Jordan Nelson starts things off. And the first attack from the Mavericks is denied. And it looks like it was Trainer that got a hand on that one. And that's going to be the key here tonight, is that front wall. Can they time the blocks correctly? And when they can, they are very, very hard to stop. As there it is, back-to-back blocks. Toa Faleo this time, just getting the single hand on it. The Mavericks with another chance here. Quick attack, and that one is going to fall for the Mavericks. And that was Casey Guilford. And Ferris keeps it alive. Mavericks another chance right here. Guilford right in the middle. No problem. Dixie State with another chance here. And Trainer puts a lot of power behind that one. But Lauren Gamble right there to pick up the trash and throws it down. Toa Faleo now. Low serve and a little bit of tricky, but no problem as that hit out of play. It looks like it was number 17, Holly Schmidt. So 4-1 here early on in the first set. Faleo again. And a good dig by Mckenna Nelson. And Trainer was trying to find that back corner, trying to catch the Mavericks off guard. So the Mavericks back on board. Holly Schmidt now. And Faleo from the back row. Schmidt's right there. Dangerous ball right here, as that one was short of the net. The Mavericks didn't know how to play it off the net, and it falls for a Trailblazer point. So here's Mckenna Nelson now. Low serve, dangerous chance here, and Sid Johnson fires right back after that poor dig. It's almost like a layup, a wide open breakaway layup. Schmidt from the back, Faleo's right there. He's gonna finish with Johnson, and a lot of power behind it, diving into the crowd and hits the referee. A good effort from the Mavericks in Dixie State, with a little bit of luck on their side possibly, but up 7-2 here so far here in the first set. And Colorado Mesa, this is not like them at all. You know, starting off the game with a couple of mental mistakes 2 points ago when the ball was just before the net. Instead of just waiting for it to come down, seeing if it could go over the net, just be aggressive, play that one right off the bat. That cost him a point there, and then the power behind Sid Johnson from that last kill. And it was just, could not handle it is Norwood. And Norwood could not reel it in. And that's where we stand so far, 7-2 here. You know, Dixie State, they just keep this momentum up. This would be huge if they could keep this up throughout the night. Both teams out of the timeout, ready to resume play. And Mckenna Nelson once again. And here we go. Norwood's going to find Guilford right there, but Jordan Nelson keeps that one alive. And Ekblad playing it safe, and Guilford hit that one out beyond the line. They're asking for a tip on the play. They don't get it. And Guilford's listed at 6 foot, but I think they might have gave away some inches. She looks like she's at least 6'2" or 6'3" out there. And Trainer misfires that one, hoping for the deflection off that front wall. Kirsten Lehman now for the Mavericks. And Trainer wins that 50-50 ball as that one deflects off of, I believe it was Lehman. Mavericks with a chance right here. That one smacked from Scher. And Scher hits that one well beyond the line. Here's Trainer. And Trainer stepped on the line, and I even caught that one as that is a serving error. Can't step on the line, but simple fix. Samantha Ritter now here for the Mavericks. And bending run from Ekblad. It looks like they're going to give that a block error. And Mesa has now cut the lead down to just 5. And Trainer setting up Johnson. Johnson fires that one in out of the diving hands of Lehman. And Johnson has improved a lot since her freshman year, now being a junior. So 2 years, of course, definitely helps, but she's now used that power and controlled it, as we see an ace from her right there, kind of a lollipop rainbow, and caught the Mavericks off guard. Johnson again. And it's going to be a setting error by Ritter. And Dixie State, all the momentum on their side here so far. (13-5) here in the first set. Here's Johnson. And that one coming off the hands of Haley Crane. And Crane hits that one a little far. And another timeout here for Coach Fleming and the Mavericks. And we're going to take a quick one as well. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching Trailblazer Volleyball. 14-5 the score here so far in the first set. Dixie State controlling this one early on so far. And 2 timeouts from Coach Fleming after the early struggles from his squad so far, but don't get used to it as this team has a lot of fight in them. And Johnson out of the timeout. Quick attack, and Trainer had it for just a second. And she knows she should have had it. She shakes her head in disgust. And here's Cher. And good recovery. And that one is going to fall for the Mavericks. As looked like Mckenna Nelson almost had it, kind of threw Ferris off just a little bit. And the Mavericks coming back. And I'm going to say a setting error on Trainer. And that one was just a little bit too high. So 14-8 here. And it is homecoming weekend. So a pretty good sized crowd here on the near side. Big swing from Collins. The Mavericks handle it, no problem. Another chance here for the Trailblazers. And having to improvise is Ekblad. It almost comes through. As that one is blocked, another chance for the Mavericks. And the Mavericks asking for a tip, and they're going to say it was tipped in the front. And Coach Felder's like, all right, yep, that was a tip, but the crowd not exactly agreeing, but here's Cher. And big swing from Faleo, and that block out of play as that one went clear across court. A good awareness from Trainer to just let that one go. There's Ekblad. And that serve just missing beyond the line, and a free point for the Mavericks. Here's Camille Smith. Finding Faleo. And it's going to find Faleo again. And Faleo is going to come through. That one off the hands of Crane and just went way back into the wall. And Nelson now. Set up Schmidt, and Schmidt is blocked. And not even a chance as that one was too low. So too low of a head and attack error. And the Mavericks are down by 7. Here's Nelson again. Low serve. Recovered nicely. And that one too low coming off of Crane. And just a lot of mistakes here early on from the Mavericks. It's not like them at all. Good setup, and that one just barely off the hands of Gamble, as that was a backdoor back row hit from Maddie Fotes. Low serve. And backdoor to Gamble, goes way up there. And that one is blocked. That was off the hands of Guilford. And that front wall timed it that time, just didn't get the angle. And Faleo. And a good rally back and forth. Gamble having to improvise. And the Mavericks keeping it alive. And big swing coming from Faleo. And that front wall just not enough to slow that down. A good play drawn up from Dixie State's side. And faked the first attack, and then Faleo comes flying in. So 19-12 now. And that serve well beyond the line, out of play. And that's just how much power Faleo brings. Didn't even look like she hit it that hard, and that one just went sailing. And it's going to find Johnson, who plays it nicely. Big swing, that was off the hands of Cher. So 2013 now. Dixie State has to keep the foot on the gas pedal if they want to come out with a first set win. And Guilford right in the middle. No one was even in the vicinity of that ball. So great awareness from Guilford to find that open space. Here's Lehman. And quick attack. Mavericks, another chance. And backdoor to Trainer. And they're going to say ball handling error on Jordan Nelson. And just a 5-point game now. Here's Lehman. And it's going to find Trainer. Dixie State with a chance right here. Mavericks return this nicely. And blocks another chance here. And that was from the middle position. It looked like it was Camille Smith. And a timeout for Coach Felder and Dixie State, 20-16. We're going to keep it here. But just when you thought Dixie State might have been running away with this one, Coach Fleming and the Mavericks come back. Down by 8 at one point, now just down by 4. And the mistakes early on for the Mavericks. So far they have 9 attack errors as a team. And they're hitting 0% right now. 0. So the offensive part not strong so far for the Mavericks. And as for the Trailblazers, only 2 attack errors so far, but they have 3 serving errors. So each team with a handful of errors from both sides, and I'm sure both squads know that, and just minimize the errors. And looking to see that cleaned up, especially from the Mavericks side, who do such a good job in just playing smart volleyball. Coach Fleming in his 15th season as head coach for the Mavericks. So here's Lehman out of the timeout. Backdoor to Ekblad and off the ceiling. And they are going to count it. And Ekblad just fires that one in there. The Mavericks just could not return it. So here's Trainer. And a low serve from Trainer. And quickly shakes it off. No problem for her.
Now serving for Colorado Mesa, number 16, Samantha
Riddle now for the Mavericks. Find Johnson, big swing, blocked initially. Another chance here. And that one off the hands of Cher. And Cher hits that one out of play.
Now serving for Dixie State, number 8, Cindy Johnson.
So here's Johnson now. And quick attack and dangerous. And Camille Smith comes through again. And Smith and Guilford are their go-to players on offense. Here's Cher. And it's going to find Faleo, and Faleo out of play. So a 3-point game now. And I have a feeling that every set is going to be like this, close and competitive. You're going to find Ekblad, bending run, and they're going to say it was tipped. Tipped at the front wall. So 23-19, Coach Fleming did not like that call. Tipped at the line and saves it somehow, so a second chance here. Quick attack, and Camille Smith right in the middle, setting that attack up perfectly. And here's Smith again. Dangerous chance here, and that was off of Ferris. And that dig just went over the net, and a timeout for Dixie State, up by 2. And we're going to take one as well. Don't go anywhere. This one's going to be good. You're watching Dixie State Trailblazer Volleyball. Fresh out of the timeout, 23-21, Dixie State out on top. And this one is going to go down to the wire as Collins comes through for the Trailblazers. That was off the front wall and deflected and into the ground. So game point here in set number 1. Here's Nelson. Quick attack from Smith. Nelson's right there to pick it up. And Faleo going to play it lightly. And lots of spin going back and forth, and that one's going to fall for the Mavericks. So the match postponed just a little bit, 24-22. And here's Norwood. And Faleo comes flying in, and Faleo comes through and ends the first set. 25-22, Dixie State takes the first set. And folks, it's going to start looking like that every set. So I suggest you guys stay tuned, because this one is going to go back and forth all night long. And we're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, some stats and analysis from that first set. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We are back inside the Student Activity Center, where we are about to start the second set. Dixie State coming victorious in that first set by a score of 25-22. And both teams tied for third in the RMAC right now at 9-3 apiece. And the winner of this game moves solely into third by themselves. Colorado Mesa currently owns the tiebreaker from a previous matchup earlier this season where they won 3-0 at home. And leading scorers for the Trailblazers in that first set, Toa Faleo and Sid Johnson, both with 4 points, and Camille Smith with 5 for the Mavericks in that first set. So out of the break, ready to resume play. This time it will be the Mavericks' turn to serve first. And just a couple more comments from the Dixie State side, and ready to go is Aaron Norwood now to start the second set. And big swing from Faleo, and yep, not gonna happen. She just threw that one down with some force. That one landed inside of that front line on the court, and with that angle and that power, there is no way anybody's gonna stop that. And Faleo, back-to-back plays now. She gets a serving ace. And she had 6 of them last night in the 3-1 victory. Dangerous chance here. Blocked, but Nelson's right there to pick it up. And it's gonna finish with Gamble. That one's blocked, so another chance here. Off the ceiling, and Gamble just has to play it over, and it was only 2 hits. So a point for the Mavericks, as it is an attack error. Low serve. And Gamble comes flying in and asking for the tip. Everyone in the student section was asking for the tip, but didn't get it, and tied again. Low serve, dangerous chance, and right there to pick up the trash is Cher. 3-2. It's a busy Saturday for Trailblazer Athletics. The football team played earlier today on homecoming, and unfortunately losing 40-27 to Chattering State. And Gamble again coming through. So 3-3 now here in the second set. And here's Mckenna Nelson. And that one just screams in there. That was off the hands of Thelius. Here's Lehman now. It's going to set up Johnson. Left hand, and is denied. And it looked like it was Thelius who made the play, and assisted by Smith. I'm going to say it was an attack error. Set up Faleo, back row. And that's Smith showing off her power right down the middle. And this is looking like the Mavericks team that the whole conference has seen all year long. Johnson, big swing, and Johnson is blocked, and Smith is right there. Seven 3 now. Backdoor to Trainer, and that's gonna fall. Trainer ending that short run. And Cy Collins checks in for Dixie State. There's Thelius, and Thelius comes through again. So 8-4 now. Mavericks on top. Ritter now for the Mavericks. Gonna set up Collins in the middle, goes way up there. And has to make the Mavericks work for it, and that's gonna be Scher who comes through. And Coach Felder gets up, calls a timeout with her team down by 5. And we're gonna keep it here this time. 9-4 the score, Mavericks up on top. And for Dixie State, a different story here in the second set. That first set, they were up 14-5 at one point. It looked like they were about to run away with this one. And since then, the Mavericks have made things interesting. They made it very close in that first set, and now just taken off a little bit here in the second set. And Camille Smith so far has answered when her number's called, right down Broadway. And we've seen a few times now where Smith just stands there right in the middle and just fires in the open spot. Those quick attacks, and Dixie State, you know, a lot of teams like to do that against Dixie. And it's worked for the most part, but when Dixie adjusts, then they really got to make the other team work for it. So fresh out of the timeout. And Fleo from the back row. And that was off the hands of Fleo, who was just a tad too late. And it looks like it was Scher. No, it was Haley Crane. And Ekblad with a quick attack. Johnson. I'm going to finish with Johnson. And a golden chance right here to end it. Ekblad, and Ekblad comes through. So 10-5 here. The Trailblazers stop the run momentarily. And a low serve from Johnson. The Mavericks returning that nicely, and that one out of play by excuse me if I'm saying this wrong, but Fotes. And quick attack, but Johnson's right there to pick it up. He's going to finish with Johnson, and a low hit and into the net. Scher now for the Mavericks. Collins with a big swing, and Mavericks keep it up with another chance here. Blocked. Switching sides this time, and it's going to come through. Going to squeeze in between two defenders of Dixie State. And Mesa has once again doubled up on the Trailblazers, 12-6. And low serve from Scher, and an ace for the Mavericks. And Coach Felder taking another timeout here in the second set, and we're going to take one as well. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in just a second. You're watching Dixie State Trailblazer Volleyball. 13-6 the score here. Mavericks up on top, but down 1-0 right now. And it has been a completely different set versus that first one. And both teams ready to play, and here's Cher. Here's Faleo, big swing and off the ceiling, and no one is going to catch to that, as that one was off the hands of Lehman. And it went lasering into the ceiling and came racing back down, and no one could get a hand on it. So here's Ekblad. Quick attack. And Collins somehow reaches for that one and blocked, and that was off of Schmidt. Camille Smith now. And Collins coming through, as that one just kind of harmlessly fell to the ground off the deflection. And here's Jordan Nelson now. And that one off of Crane, but Crane hits that one out beyond the line. And here's Nelson again. Low serve. And that one perfectly drawn up. Guilford right in the middle. Just throwing that one down. And that looks like that's the main attack between this Maverick squad. When Guilford's not in, it's feed Smith and vice versa. And Dixie State so far does not have an answer for it. And Faleo, big swing. Mavericks keep it alive. And that one's blocked. No one's going to somehow manage to make a play on it, but that third and final hit just not enough. And a good effort from the Mavericks. And here's Faleo now. Quick attack, and golden chance here for the Mavericks. And that one is blocked, and that's Thelius. Only stands at 5'6", but she can get up there too.
Now serving for Colorado Mesa, number 2, Matt Counts.
So here's Fouts. Gotta find Faleo. Another round right here. And Johnson. That was Gamble who set up Johnson perfectly, and we don't see that a lot from the All-American Gamble. We don't see her set her teammates up a lot, but perfectly drawn up right there. And the referee saying that it was out of play, but both teams going back and forth. And now the referee not waving it off, as Coach Felder's trying to make her case, saying that the side official on the near side was waving his flag for an attack error earlier on in the match, and the head referee didn't see it. And the head referee is not believing her maybe for just a second, but Nelson saying he was waving the flag. And when the flag is waved, the play should be dead right then and there, but the head official in the middle didn't see it, and now is just getting some clarification from both sides. And And we're going to see what it looks like they're going to give it to Mesa, and Coach Felder not happy about that at all. I mean, understanding why. I mean, that should have been a point for Dixie State. Instead, it's a point for the Mavericks. And Johnson answers right back and finds that back left corner. So still a 5-point game now. And here's Trainer. Quick attack off the net. And that is Smith again from that center position. And that is their main attack tonight, right in the middle. And Dixie State just late to it every time. It's going to find Johnson. Big swing, and it's blocked, but out of play. It looks like Crane will get the kill. Trainer over to Collins. It's going to find Crane, and Crane this time is stuffed, and it's Ekblad. So 19-13, Mavericks up top. Dixie State just trying to show some fight here. Quick attack this time, and it's low of the net. And I know it's easy for me to say it from up here since I'm up top, but every time the Mavericks set up for that middle attack, and an ace for Johnson, but every time the Mavericks set up for that middle attack, they don't have any outside hitters going out on the outside. So if Dixie State can pick that up and make the adjustments that are needed to happen, they can stop what the Mavericks have been successful on offense so far. And Coach Fleming going to take a timeout for the Mavericks after this small run from Dixie State after that questionable call from the officials, with the one official waving the flag saying the play should be dead, but play continued and the Mavericks scored and Mavericks got the point. But since then, Dixie State has cut this lead down and has made things interesting once again. 19-15 now. The Mavericks up on top, and I have a feeling this one's going to be a 3 to 4 point game. I don't think Dixie State is done just yet with making things interesting. There's still a lot left of that here in the second set. So Dixie State ready to play now. And a low serve from Johnson, so a freebie for the Mavericks.
Colorado Mesa, number 12, Share.
So here's Share now. Trainer going to find Faleo, and Faleo. Too much power for that front wall. And a point for Dixie State. Mavericks with a quick attack right here. Gamble just kind of punches that one up there. Another chance here for Dixie State. Setting up Faleo and nearly gets it to fall. And they're going to say it was a line violation as it looked like the Mavericks stepped over the line. So 20-17 now the score, and here's Ekblad. And that is Schmidt who comes through for the Mavericks. That one deflected hard off of that front wall. So here's Smith. Gamble, quick attack right in the middle, and Gamble telling the Mavericks, hey, I can do it too. Dixie State does have that in their arsenal. So here's Nelson now. Quick attack, and see, bam! Front wall denying it again. In case you missed it right there, no outside hitters were going to the outside to set up the fake. It is right down Broadway, clear as daylight every time. And again, they're going to feed Smith again. But if Dixie State, if they can pick up on that, the outside hitter's not going for the play fake, that's going to be dangerous. But for now, just a 3-point lead for the Mavericks. And Trainer fires it in, and that one's off the hands of Lehman and out of play. So just a 2-point lead now for the Mavericks. So here's Faleo now. Right in the middle again, and Smith is going to come through. And they're just going to feed Smith until this one's over. Or excuse me, this is Guilford. Guilford's been the one that has been doing the damage as of lately. Crossing it over to Johnson. Johnson off that front wall. The Mavericks with another chance here. And it's going to finish with Trainer, and Trainer gets blocked initially but goes out of play. Here's Mckenna Nelson now. Set up Thelius. Perfect dig by Nelson. Faleo. Dangerous chance right here, and Smith comes through again right in the middle. Or Guilford, excuse me, I keep saying Smith. Smith is now in the game. And game point here for the Mavericks to even up the series. It's going to find Trainer, and Trainer wants to say it hit the line, and Coach Felder cannot believe it. Cannot believe that that one was not called on the line. And 25-21, the final after the second set, and we are tied at 1 apiece going into the third set. Don't go anywhere. You feel the excitement here in the Student Activity Center. We'll be right back. You're watching Dixie State Trailblazer Volleyball. Welcome back inside the Student Activity Center, where we are at a deadlock tie at 1 apiece between Dixie State and Colorado Mesa. I'm your play-by-play guy, James Guerin, of course, here for every single Trailblazer home volleyball game. And it has been a dogfight between these two squads so far. 25-22, Dixie wins the first set, and the Mavericks coming away with a 25-21 victory just a moment ago in that second set. But back and forth these two teams go. And some other scores from around the RMAC: Regis took care of Colorado Christian 3-0, and Westminster beating Western Colorado today 3-0. And MSU Denver still strong in the RMAC, winning 3-0 over New Mexico Highlands. Colorado School of Mines going up against Colorado Christian. That one may already be over. And Fort Lewis, Black Hills State also squaring off. Adams State versus South Dakota Mines, and Chadron State against Colorado State University Pueblo. And I'm not sure if Dixie State caught on to it, but I was mentioning the last set, when the Mavericks go to that middle position, whether it be Camille Smith or Casey Guilford, those outside hitters do not move to the outside. You can see it very early on in the play that nobody even makes a move towards the outside, and so you know it's going right down Broadway. So if Dixie State, if anybody had seen that from their side, said something to Coach Felder, we may see a different ball game here. If they can make them one-dimensional and stop what they're doing so successfully, this one's going to be over before we know it. The Mavericks with the second chance here and blocked. And a golden chance here as they set up Trainer, and Trainer fires that one in there to get on board first here in the third set. Here's Jordan Nelson. Ferris keeps it alive and it's going to set up Faleo, and Faleo. My, good luck with that. So 2-0 here early on in the third set. Nelson again. And it's going to set up Thelius, and Thelius is blocked. Set up Thelius again, and Thelius this time is low. So Dixie State capitalizing on the error. The Mavericks with the setup here. And that one is blocked, and no one's going to return it, as it looks like it was Trainer who got the hand on it. Nelson again. Set up Thelius, and Thelius is blocked initially. And switching sides to Norwood, and Gamble is right there to make a play. And just the height from those front three, all over 6'1". And Thelius at 5'6", and Norwood standing at 5'6", so an unfavorable matchup for the Mavericks. And that time they were trying to set up for Guilford, and just a little too high, and a timeout for Mesa, down 6-0 here in the third set. We're going to keep it here. Coach Felder loving it so far from her squad here in the third set. And Mesa's trying to come at Dixie State with a different direction of offense. They're trying to get those outside hitters to start making plays, and that front wall for Dixie State is just too tall. They have about 6 inches on the outside hitters for the Mavericks, and maybe that's why the Mavericks go so much down the middle between Smith and Guilford. It works for them. They have the height there down the middle, but on the outside they are lacking the height, and Dixie State coming away with the defensive plays. And 6-0 just happened in a snap. And the momentum definitely all on the Trailblazers side right now. And out of the timeout, we are ready to go. And Nelson once again getting a lot of work done from serving. And backdoor to Smith, and Smith for Guilford. Guilford finds that back corner. And it looked like it was going to be out for just a second and then sneaks in just barely inside that line. So here's Fouts. And it's going to finish with Trainer. Outside to Thelius. And it's going to find Faleo. Dangerous chance here. Gamble is going to come through and throws it down. As that dig was up there forever. And that's a dangerous position for that ball to be in. Gamble took advantage of it and just throws it down. There's Faleo again. Off the net. Quick attack from the middle, blocked. And the Mavericks nearly get it to come. And Sid Johnson picks up the trash and finds that far right corner. And for the first time tonight, Savannah Spitzer comes in for the Mavericks. Faleo. Bending run from Guilford. Another chance here, gonna set up Gamble in the middle, and it's gonna fall. No power needed, just had to loft it up there. And right in the middle of the Mavericks defense. And it is 9-1. Dixie State on top. And that serve wide of the line and a freebie for the Mavericks. Set up Gamble in the middle. And nearly off the ceiling, the Mavericks keep it alive. And it's going to set up Trainer. Trainer lightly hits it over. Diving players from the Mavericks. And blocked, and this time it's Gamble. Gamble gets the hand on it and denies it. And Trainer was right there. And here's Mckenna Nelson. And quick attack. And this time it is Smith, and Smith's fired up. And Ritter and Crane check back in. Here's Ritter. And Trainer with just the finesse hit there. And somehow Dixie State keeps that one alive. Looked like it was going to hit the ground for just a second. It's going to set up Johnson, and Johnson gets the kill, and everyone on the Trailblazers side is fired up as that block goes out of play. And what a save. There was two brilliant saves. Diving effort, I believe it was Mckenna Nelson had one of them, and then Jordan Nelson had the other. And low serve from Meg Trainer, and a serving ace. So everything going right for Dixie State, and another timeout for the Mavericks. 12-3 here in the third set. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. 12-3 your score here. Dixie State out on top, and it's been all Dixie State here in the third set. And maybe Dixie State somewhat figured out the Mavericks' game plan and are forcing them to come at them with something different, but nothing has worked for them so far. Here's Trainer. And quick attack, and that is Smith again. And the front wall for Dixie not there this time. So here's Scher now for the Mavericks. And going to set up Johnson. diving effort from Lehman, and no one's going to be able to return that as that one falls into the crowd. So a kill for Johnson. Quick attack, and that's from Smith again. That's twice in a row now. We've seen Smith get fed up there in the middle, and Guilford checks in. So both powerhouses now in for the Mavericks. So 13-5 the score. And that serve out from Smith, so a free point for the Trailblazers. Here's Ekblad. Off the net. Mavericks having to recover, and no one's going to be able to recover as that's a serving ace for Ekblad. So 15-5 now. Mavericks with a chance here. Ferris keeps it alive. Another dangerous chance. Faleo going into the crowd and trying to make a play on it, but no dice. Here's Norwood now. And it's going to find Faleo. It's going to find Thelius. Blocked initially. Another chance here for Dixie State. Gamble in the middle. And no one's going to be able to play it off the net as that one was too low. And Dixie State up to a 10-point lead now. Here's Nelson. Thelius from the outside off the net. And playing it safe. Another chance here for the Mavericks. Thelius on the outside, and Thelius this time is going to squeeze through that wall. And that was between Gamble and Faleo, the Twin Towers. And Fouts now. And that serve is low of the net, so Dixie State gains that point right back. And Johnson checks in, and Faleo now to serve. Find Thelius. Tipped. Gonna find Johnson. And Gamble with the fast reflexes. And they're gonna say they crossed over the line. Dixie State did, and that's a point for the Mavericks. Looks like it was Gamble. Lollipop Rainbow. Find Trainer. And that one out of play coming off of Share. So back and forth points we go, the last 4 points. And here's Mckenna Nelson. And Thelius. That was off the hands of Johnson and out of play, so Thelius, after a rocky start, comes through. Short serve. Bending run from Ekblad. It's going to find Johnson, and Johnson low of the net. So 18-10 now, the score. Backdoor to Trainer, and Trainer places that one in there perfectly.
Dixie State, Trainer.
And Trainer now to serve. And quick attack, and that one's fired in by Smith. So here's Cher now. And Ekblad with a bending run, and Ekblad comes through for Dixie State. That was off that front wall and falls to the ground. So Johnson now for the Trailblazers. It's going to find Schmidt, and Schmidt is blocked. And no communication between like Crane and Ritter, or Cher and Ritter. And for the first time tonight, Emily Tucker checks in for the Mavericks. And that serve inside the line. And the coaching staff for the Mavericks don't like the call at all. Maybe that was a makeup for what happened earlier, I don't know, but a point for Dixie State. And quick attack from Smith. And the Mavericks now starting to use that strategy once again. It's coming in their favor. Dixie State not adjusting to it fast enough. As we've seen Smith now 3 times in a row come away with that. And that one hit out of play, and that was off of Schmidt. So 23-12 now. So here's Ekblad. It's going to find Schmidt, tipped. Going to find Faleo. And there she is, Guilford right in the middle to pick that one up. And that 1-2 punch of Guilford and Smith, you can see why Mesa does so well. And poor return right off the bat. So another point for the Mavericks, down by 9. And that served long from Norwood. And we are at game point here. 24-14. And Jordan Nelson now. Blocked, but another chance here. Thelius is blocked, and that was off of Faleo and out of play. As 2 subs come in for the Mavericks. Fouts and Cher. Nelson and Nelson going to finish with Faleo, and Faleo short of the net. And so Mesa staying alive here in this third set. And low serve. Mavericks have a chance here. And going to finish with Faleo, and Faleo finds the placement in that back corner. And for the second time tonight, she ends the set. Dixie State 25, Colorado Mesa 16, and Dixie State leading now 2-1. We're going to take a quick break before the start of the fourth set. Don't go anywhere. This one's going to be good, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back inside the Student Activity Center, where Dixie State leading 2-1 over Colorado Mesa. Both teams tied for third in the RMAC. Both 9-3 coming into tonight. And it has been a fight. Other than that last set, which was kind of a head scratcher from the Mavericks side, it has been neck and neck. And so far, leading for the Trailblazers, if you guessed Toa Falea, you'd be right. He leads with 12 points so far. And Camille Smith leading the way with 13 points for the Mavericks. So about to start the fourth and what could be the final set here. And Mesa has a long road ahead of them if they want to come away with a victory tonight. So Dixie State will watch as the Mavericks are first to serve here. And it's going to be Fouts. And we are ready to start. And here's Fouts. And Faleo, dangerous chance here, and 50-50 ball, and able to keep it alive. And they're going to say too many hits, as it looks like that first one was a block. I don't know how many hits they got in it exactly. But the Mavericks get on board first here in the fourth set. And 3 hits and not enough, as communication was not there this time for Dixie State. So a serving ace for Norwood. And going to find Trainer. And Trainer misfires, as that one was out of play. So here's Fouts again. And Faleo looking for the placement this time, doesn't get it. And this time it's going to split the defenders, and that is Cher, who splits the two Trailblazers. Here's Fouts again. And gonna find Faleo. And Faleo, too much power as that was off of Lehman. So ending that 4-0 run right off the bat. And here's Faleo now. And a low serve, and it's going to be an ace for Faleo. And we've seen that a lot now here this weekend, haven't we? Mavericks setting up. Here's Thelius. Trainer's right there to pop it up. It's going to finish with Johnson. Gamble right in the middle, off the net. Mavericks with another chance here. And that one's blocked and returned beautifully back and forth. Quick attack from Jordan Nelson. And Nelson comes through. And a pretty good sized crowd here tonight for homecoming weekend. And they're letting them know. Here's Faleo. Set up Trainer, and Trainer comes through as that was off of Guilford. And just like that, we are tied at 4 apiece, each team having a 4-0 run of their own. And that serve from Faleo just too much. And a point for the Mavericks. So here's Lehman now. And you're going to finish with Camel, and my goodness. She gets up there and throws it down. And she got some height behind that one as well and just lasered it. There's Ritter. Gonna set up Trainer, who comes in from the back and finds the inside of the line. So here's Trainer now, the Swiss Army knife. And that one not even close, as that was Cher who just did not get the hit she wanted to. And Dixie State regains the lead. And that serve in. The Mavericks called out and finds the inside of the line. So an ace for Trainer. And another serving ace for Trainer as the Mavericks couldn't catch up to that one. And a timeout for Coach Fleming and the Mavericks. 9-6, Dixie State out in front here in the fourth set. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching Dixie State Trailblazer Volleyball. So 9-6 the score here. Dixie State leads and leads the series 2-1. And trying to move into third place by themselves in the RMAC conference, trying to keep up pace with MSU Denver and Regis. Dixie State has not faced Regis so far this season, but they will play them in about 2 weeks. And out of the timeout, and here is Trainer. Slow serve. And diving effort from Trainer, and that's Smith right in the middle, making yet another play. So 9-7. And here is Cher. And Johnson improvising. As the initial dig looked too close to the net. Trainer had to change her body to make a play, and then Johnson comes out of nowhere. And for a second, I thought she was going to go with the left hand. Instead, goes to the right. And quick attack, and Smith's right there. And that's just too easy. That is too easy for the Mavericks. And notice how nobody else moved except for Smith. That's how you know that play's coming. And Collins comes in and gets blocked. And it looks like it was Guilford who got the pause on it. And Faleo comes through that block going out of play. So a kill for Faleo. And 11-9 here. Dixie State holding on. So here's Ekblad. And that one fired in there. And looks like that one's going to be Crane. As that one split that front wall and completely didn't even slow it down. So here's Norwood. And Faleo. Quick attack blocked, another chance here. They're gonna say ball handling error on Gamble. So tie game now at 11 apiece. Norwood again. Collins, big swing, and Faleo not even gonna let it come back down, throws it down before it even has a chance. And that was a good effort from the Mavericks to make something out of nothing, but Faleo said, nope, I'm just gonna throw this down. Quick attack and having to change flight. And there's Trainer. And it's the finish with Faleo. Big swing. And hits it just out of reach of Lehman. And Dixie State gaining back that momentum in just the last two plays. Going to set up Thelius, and Thelius is blocked, and the Twin Towers are there this time. Gamble and Faleo there making a play. And here's Nelson. And popping it up for Thelius. And able to play it off the ceiling. Nelson pops it up. It's going to find Trainer, and Trainer. Lehman keeps it alive, so another chance here. Back and forth, here we go. It's going to finish with Faleo, and Faleo finds the front open spot in the defense, and Coach Fleming shakes his head, good play, and calls a timeout. Down by 4. We're going to keep this one here. 15-11 Dixie State breaking the tie, getting 4 points in a row. And they're currently with all the momentum on their side. And if you're Coach Felder, you got to be thrilled with how your team is playing right now. They're doing everything right. They're executing. They're playing smart. They're talking. They're doing everything They've cut down on those mistakes, and they're forcing the Mavericks to make mistakes, which we're usually not accustomed to seeing from a Coach Fleming team. Always does such a great job with the squad that he brings together, and Dixie State is just making them a little bit uncomfortable, trying to force them to do different things instead of just going down the middle with Smith and Guilford, forcing them to use other players to try and cut this one close, and Dixie State has their number. So out of the timeout, we're ready to go, and Jordan Nelson now at the helm. And setting up right in the middle, it's blocked. And it looks like it was the Twin Towers again. Gamble and Faleo there. And actually might have looked like it hit Gamble in the face. And just going to bring her off, asking her if she's okay. It looked like it might have just hit her in the nose. But she's a baller. She stays out there, up by 5. So here's Nelson. And going to set up. Guilford right in the middle, and Guilford answers back. So here's Fouts. Nelson going to set up Faleo, and Mckenna Nelson right there to pick it up. Trainer. And Thelius is stuffed at the net. In the Twin Towers again, and it looks like Faleo got the hand on it, and Gamble was there with the assist. When you're 5'6", though, there's really not much you can do when you're going up against Giants that are at 6'2". 8-inch difference. And we've seen that a number of times, and we know that's not what the Mavericks want to do. They want to go down the middle, but just desperately trying to change philosophy here. And blocked initially. Another chance here. Going to set up right back to Guilford. It's going to find Johnson on the outside, and that one is going to fall as that one was off the hands of Guilford. And Dixie State just answering anything the Mavericks have to offer. And here's Faleo. It's going to finish with Guilford, this time bending run. And it's going to find Gamble. And quick attack, pops it up. And it's going to finish with Johnson. Johnson, too much power behind it. And out of play, but they're going to say it was tipped at the line, and that is actually a point for Dixie State. I must have missed it, but I didn't see it. As Tucker checks in for the Mavericks. Mavericks with a chance here, and Scher hits that one out of play. And Dixie State running away here in the 4th set. And here's Faleo. And playing it safe, golden chance here. Trainer, big swing, another chance here. One-handed set, and Gamble's right there to throw the hammer down. And Dixie State on a mission right now. 21-12, out in front. find Thelius, and Thelius is stuffed at the line again. And who else? Looks like Gamble was there to make the play. So now back up by 10. And here's Faleo getting some work done now. Serving. And tipped. Another chance here. It's going to find Trainer. Second chance here. And stuffed again. This defense for Dixie State coming through, and it looks like it was Gamble yet again. And there's a reason why Gamble was voted defensive for All-American last year, for plays like those. And it's going to finish with Johnson. Another chance here. And Trainer finding the space. Mavericks playing it safe. And it's going to find Trainer again, and this time it is blocked. I think it was too low of a hit anyway. So the run stops there, but just 2 points away now from game point. So there's Lehman. Popping it up over to Johnson. And blocked. And that's Smith this time who gets blocked. And it looks like it was Gamble yet again. And Lauren Gamble, my goodness, she has been a wreck. And we are at game point here in this series. Everybody on their feet. And this is going to find. Blocked, but another chance here. Here's Cher. Faleo over to Nelson, and Faleo going to finish it. And this time's going to end with Thelius. Nelson going to set up Trainer, and Trainer comes through, and Trainer ends the match. A 25-13 victory for Dixie State over the Mavericks of Colorado Mesa. 25-22, Dixie State takes set one. Mavericks take set two, 25-21. Then Dixie State winning set three, 25-16. And finally taking home the fourth set by a score of 25-13. And man, oh man, there's so many players that you can pick from who can possibly get the game ball. I mean, you could say Sid Johnson. You could say Toa Faleo, you could say Trainer, you could say Gamble. I mean, all of those players had over 15 points in this matchup. So I think I'm going to give out co-player of the game for the first time. I think we got to give it between Toa Faleo and Lauren Gamble. Just because of those blocks that Gamble had in those last couple of points to stop anything from the Mavericks attack. So it's going to be Toa Faleo and the All-American Lauren Gamble, tonight's players of the game. For Dixie State, they improved to 15-6 on this season and go to 10-3 in RMAC play. And as for the Mavericks, they dropped to 13-8 and 9-4 in RMAC play. So Dixie State now in third place by themselves in the RMAC. And no games until next week, Friday. They have New Mexico Highlands Friday at 6 p.m. right here in the Student Activity Center. And then on Saturday against Colorado State Pueblo, that is senior night. That is the final regular season home game of the 2019 season. So you will want to be here next week for those two games. And you know I'm going to be there next week as well. So for myself, James Guerin, and everyone else here at CEC, we thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good Saturday night, guys. Aloha.